Well, what's going on, everybody? You saw the thumbnail and the title to this video. This is gonna be fun. Well, what's up, y'all? So it is Thursday, and it is 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and that means it is time for our Q&A. And like I mentioned, you saw the thumbnail. We're going to talk about the Great Guitar Build-Off 2021. We are going to talk about that Fender Acoustasonic because I think most people, I'm just going to say, I think when people look at that guitar, I think they're looking at it wrong. I think they are looking at it in a way that it is not meant to be looked at. So we're going to talk about perspective with that thing and the cool things that it does. You probably already have noticed that Leslie is in the comment back there. So you can say hello. She's going to be making sure I don't miss any super chats, for example. It's nice to have her back, and her voice is... hi.
Hello.
She's back there. So, awesome. So if you are not familiar with our 5 o'clock Thursday show, we take questions from Patreon and questions from our YouTube members. You can hit the little join button down there. And then also we take questions from everybody over here in the chat too. So, you know, make sure you get in there and say some stuff, and we are going to hang out. Let's get through these Patreon and YouTube member questions, and then we're going to talk about this other stuff. It is huge, or as some people would say, huge. I'm not even kidding you. Mind-blowing for me, personally, and also I think for guitar players everywhere, and I'm going to explain that in a few minutes. Okay, Jeff says, hi, I recently purchased a 2015 SG Standard from Gibson's demo shop on Reverb. It plays great and sounds awesome, except that it has some string buzz, especially on the low E string. It has a brass nut that has what looks like a steel saddle on it. I'm not familiar with brass nuts, and I don't know if they are like that. Could this be the source of the string buzz? It's not hitting any frets. That's the first thing I checked. Okay, so 2015, 2016 is that weird time with Gibson where they were doing robotic tuners, and they were doing these brass/titanium nuts. I just reread this again. I've been thinking about this all day, and then I just realized just now when I read this that if it looks like it's steel in there, chances are that's the titanium replacement. When they put those brass ones in there, they wore super quickly, and as a result, they provided these titanium replacements. Now you can adjust that nut and pull it up a little bit on that low E side, and it'll probably be fixed. It's a really cool idea. Gibson didn't market it properly, but it's a really cool idea. It's a very interesting technology, if you will. Excuse me. Robert says, is there a basic run through that you can give about how a piezo pickup operates and how it differs from a conventional pickup and advantages that it has over a more conventional pickup? Yes, so a magnetic pickup there's a magnetic field, and the string vibrates in the magnetic field, right? There's no actual percussion that happens. It's not like you can bang on it and it'll make noise, but that's not its intended design. A piezo is actually a crystal. This gets like kind of weird, but it's a crystal. It's a crystal, and when it vibrates, it creates electrical current. And so that brass braid in there, it's not brass, it's this braid, it's got piezo crystals in it, and when the string vibrates on top of it, it creates a voltage. So it does the same thing. It is a transducer, transferring motion to electrical energy. It just does it by vibration instead of by magnetism. Very cool. Very cool. Charles says, I'm working on building a Frankenstrat. The neck is off an old Fender Malibu acoustic. Whoa, that's pretty wild. Okay, acoustic guitar neck on an electric guitar. That's kind of wild. It is a maple neck with a rosewood fretboard and a half moon where the sound hole was. Okay, cool. Visualizing. After I reshape the neck, do I have to finish the maple part of the neck with polyurethane? If so, is there a way to age the new poly the same color as the rest of the neck? If you're going to keep your humidity, I wouldn't stress about this. I wouldn't stress about it. Yeah, is the short answer. But don't stress about it too much. And if you want to make it match, stain it first as close as possible, then put poly over it. That's what I would do, kind of just literally take it to Lowe's with you and go down all of the, you know, like, I don't know. And what doesn't matter, any of the little cans of stain, and just like find the thing that's the closest. And or you could probably use some dye to, like some Stumac dye to tint some polyurethane, you know, maybe something like that to get it to match. The real answer is, yeah, you know, you don't want raw wood, obviously, because humidity and will get in there more, but is it really going to be a problem? No, because you're going to take care of your guitar and you're going to keep it in an environment that is cool, you know what I mean, is consistent. So knowing Charles, and Charles is on some of our Patreon workshops, and I know he's pretty conscientious about how he takes care of his stuff. So, you know, if you're taking care of everything and your environment that you keep your guitars in, chances are you really won't worry about it. Let's see. Jonathan says, I've been having some issues with the pickup in my Breedlove acoustic. The output jack seems to be loose and pop once a gig. Could you explain how those under the bridge pickups work? We just did. That's what those piezo pickups are. And if there's a better option to upgrade. So I don't know what Breedlove acoustic you have. Some of the really inexpensive ones have like a knockoff of an LR Bags. If you wanted to replace it, I would say LR Bags all the way. That would be my 100% thing. You can actually get parts, if it is an LR Bags part, maybe the Korean ones and then on up to the American ones come with an LR Bags. So if the guitar was like $600 or $800, it might be a Korean one. Those might have LR Bags in it, and you can actually buy all those parts separately and just replace them. But I don't know. So it just depends on which one it is. This is a Patreon question, so just reply to that on Patreon, like what exact model it is and where it's made, and maybe I can try to help you pinpoint that a little bit more. Yeah. Cool. And then we got one more question that came in from YouTube members. When making a coil tapped pickup, not split, is the wire broken at the eyelet to secure it to the eyelet before returning to winding? I don't break it. I pull it through, and then I solder it, and then it goes back out. I just pull it back, and so you kind of have like a wire like this going out. That's what I do. I don't think it really matters as long as it's done. That's my opinion. So.
Was
awesome.
The last question you covered from Jonathan?
Yes.
He said it's a Korean Passport C250.
Okay. Well, hang on really quick. Let's just look for him. If I can find it super fast. I don't know that this one has LR Bags in it. These are cool. This is a Sitka spruce top, pinless bridge, super neato. I can't tell right away. We'll get back to that. Put that model number over there on Patreon where you asked that question, and we'll try to get back to that maybe later this evening while I'm surfing around. I'll try to find an answer for you. I don't want to sit here and Google for 10 minutes while I try to figure it out. If I was thinking if I could do it quickly, I would, but I can't seem to find the actual. The thing about Breedlove's are they change up their available models very quickly. Like, so one model will be available for a couple of years, and then they'll change the number and a couple of features, and it might be something a little different, but it'll be basically the same. They kind of have a tendency to do that, so it makes it hard to just be like, oh, it's this model. You know, it's like, it's not a D18 for 50 years, you know what I mean, or 100 years. So, awesome. If it doesn't have LR bags, chances are I would just swap it out with LR bag stuff. That would be my thing. Zoltan, you did not miss the huge stuff. We're going to get into that basically right now. So, if you haven't figured it out already, and I did announce this on my Patreon earlier this afternoon as being official. I did tease it a little bit in a vlog a couple weeks ago. But I have been invited to participate in the Great Guitar Build-Off 2021. It has completely changed this year. It's not just like a Crimson Guitars thing. They actually, from what I can tell, have completely made an entirely standalone company called the Great Guitar Build-Off. I believe they have formed it into like its own charity, which is really kind of cool to help basically put instruments and tools and knowledge into the hands of people that want to learn the craft of working on and building guitars, which I think is really cool. And I think what it sounds like it's morphing into is people will be able to nominate people who they feel deserve this charitable stuff and everything. So I think it's kind of cool. And on top of that, they've split it up into Invitational, which is where they've invited 10, I believe it's 10 competitors, YouTubers, like, you know, various YouTubers. In fact, one of them I don't even think is a YouTuber. I don't think Tim is a YouTuber at this point. So there's 10 competitors, and those will be, I think, as far as I can tell, because I haven't got all of the rules yet, and I'm working on, they're literally, as of yesterday, we're still like emailing me and we're trying to get all the details sorted. But long and the short of it is, kind of like last year, auction the guitar off. Only this year, half of the proceeds go to my charity of choice, which I'll get into in a minute, and then the other half of the proceeds go to the Great Guitar Build-Off's charity, which I think is very cool. When you listen to Ben talk about what it's doing and what they're accomplishing with it, I fully back it. I think it's really cool to split that off into two things. So we'll get to what my charity is here in a minute, but I want to talk about the other thing. They have a, it's called, I don't know what they're exactly calling it. So there's the Invitational, but that's only 10 people. But the real contest actually is for all of you who have enrolled in this thing. And I know for a fact that there are folks listening right now. Let me see, has Ben here? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Ben Burzak, who's in the chat right now, he is one of the competitors. In fact, Ben, your pickups are they're right over here. So he actually ordered pickups from me to use in that thing. So very, very cool. And then we have another, I think Rob, I don't know if Rob is here right now, but he's also over on our Patreon workshop deal. He's building something, and I know he ordered pickups for me to do that. So I'm super stoked. So as I learn, one of the things I'm going to do is, as I learn of some of you, and if you are participating in this thing, please put it in the comments, because I want to know. I want to blow it up. I think it's so cool. And they're putting it into different sections. So you're going to have like a complete scratch build contest, and that's going to get like a prize or something. And then you're going to get like there's a kit contest. So whatever your, level of, I don't want to say ability, because I think everybody can do something amazing, whatever your level of commitment to the amount of tools you have and all that kind of stuff. You'll be able to participate, and I think it's really cool. I'm super, don't worry about the rules. They changed a lot last time. I will tell you, I am 100% for sure that they have really worked on this as a thing that will, I think what happened last time was they're like, let's do this fun thing because we're during COVID and everybody's locked down and it'll just be kind of a fun thing. And it blew up into this thing that I don't think they knew was going to turn into its own thing. You know, like Crimson Guitars as a company, it would be like me putting together a contest and then all of a sudden going, holy crap, it turned into this huge thing, and having to make it its own thing. So they spent a lot of time, I think, ironing it out. Texas Toast. So Matt or Chris, or Matt and Chris, are in the comments right now. So let's go over and look, since Matt is here, and he likes it when people say nice things about him. So we're gonna look at the 2021 participants in this thing for and we're gonna talk about them because this is really cool. Some of the people that they have chosen, I know who some of these people are. I know some of these people, and I'm really excited about it. So here, let's go ahead and put my head in a box. And I encourage you to go to greatguitarbuildoff.com and look this over and learn about these people. Go to their websites, watch their YouTube channels, check them out because there are some really creative people here. The first one is Tim Sway from New Perspectives Music. Now he's up in like Rhode Island or somewhere, Connecticut, somewhere like that. And he, his specialty is junk, like reclaimed wood and pieces of stuff, and he makes it into stuff, and it's very cool. And I think he's done like furniture and stuff in the past, but his guitars are super duper unique. And then go to his website too. He has this thing, and it literally, like, it's a box truck, like a bread van or something, and it opens up on the back and it's got a stage, and he's a really neat guy. So follow his Instagram. Make sure you, because he's got an Instagram, right? Oh, he does have a YouTube channel now. Oh, cool, awesome. So go follow his YouTube channel. That's where you'll see his stuff. I don't know Tamar Hannah from 3x3 Custom. I don't personally know her. If you go look at her YouTube channel, she's very creative with wood. So it'll be exciting to see how she applies it to a guitar. It's going to be very, very interesting. And then Brad Angove, we know who Brad Angove is. No small part thanks to Texas Toast. I mean, obviously he has his own YouTube channel, but I'm just saying, you know, those cardboard heads, those were funny. Matt, if I don't get a cardboard head, I will be offended. Jimmy DiResta, he was last year. And Laura, I don't know how to say her name, because is it Poindextry? I don't know how to say her name. But the public competition last year, she won it. So that's pretty cool. And the way they're doing this is whoever wins the public one gets automatically invited to next year's invitational. That's why she's here. So it's really, really cool. Ben Crow, obviously from Crimson. Colin from CS Guitars. Make sure you look at his YouTube channel. I like what he does, obviously, because the science of loud. I love that name. I love what he does. I like how he explains stuff. Obviously, I have a thing about explaining sciencey music, guitar stuff on YouTubes. I love that. So make sure you check him out. And then there's me. Johnny from Crafted Workshop. I don't know who he is. And I don't know who Chick's Guitar and Furniture is either. I don't. Now here's the insane part. The judges. This blows my mind. And here's why. First of all, you have Matt and Chris. I mean, if I wanted anybody to judge me about anything, it would be Matt and Chris. So judge away. Judge away, y'all. That's going to be cool. So they have invited to be judges. For the public one, I don't know how all of this judging stuff works. As soon as I know more details about it, I will share it with you. Derek from Big D, Mary Spender. Holy crap, her YouTube channel is huge, and she's really, really good. Her reviews and her laid-back, chill demeanor, and I don't know. I've been watching a lot of her lately, actually. Maria from Mango Guitars. I actually don't know who she is. I just saw her today and started watching her channel and stuff. Steve from Steve Guitars. Sophie Burrell. I don't know who Dagan Wilkin is until today. I've kind of been binging some stuff once I've learned who some of these people are. And look at this junk right here. Lee Anderton from Andertons. The crazy thing about this is there are, just from the judges, there are 2 million subscribers on these YouTube channels combined. Just from the judges. That's not including all the people that are participating. So to be a part of this, I can't even believe, I don't even know how it happened, to tell you the truth. I actually got a email, just a random email one day, and it was like, hey, do you want to do this? And I was like, yeah. I had no idea. I said something to somebody about it would be fun to do it, but I didn't know anything about it. Yeah, really, really stoked about this. I just can't even believe it. I have a concept. I have already bought parts. I do not have all the parts from Crimson Guitars yet. So the neck and the body wood that I'm going to be using, I have not gotten that from them yet. I have a concept in my mind that I've been working on for literally like 2 or 3 years. In fact, I actually talked to Matt about it, about cutting the stuff for me when I was out there, not even related to this contest. This is a design I've had in my head, and knowing what all these other people make and what they're known for making, I will tell you that what I'm doing is so off in left field. It's going to be insane. If I can pull it off. I hope I can pull it off. Like, literally the idea I have is something I've never done, I've never tried, and it is literally just, it's in here. And I've never even, yeah.
So we did have another person, Reality Studios Custom Shop, say that they're in the,
Reality.
He tagged it as like hashtag GGBO Team Kit.
Let me see. Yeah, we just want to keep track of these folks because.
Yeah. So this will be the first time he's building anything, and he's terrified and excited.
Dude, same. Even more so once I looked at who was going to have their eyes on this stuff. I don't get starstruck or anything very often, but at the same time, realizing just the sheer number of eyes that is going to be on what everybody is doing, I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy. No, I'm not doing 4 necks, dude. I'm not doing 4 necks. Yeah, it's going to be insane, man. I was actually going to talk to Matt about it. Maybe after the live is over, I might call Matt. I'm trying to come up with a plan of how they say 6 videos, and then the last one is like the main unveil. But you don't even have to do 6 videos. You could just do the main unveil. I'm trying to decide, do I want to do this like pieces at a time and let pieces out over a 6-week period till it's done? Or do I want to kind of do what Matt did last year and like tease a little bit and then just blow the whole thing out at the end? Brad like made his all along the way. So I don't know how exactly I want to do this yet. I haven't really decided. Part of it might be how it actually goes. I'm not sure I'm not sure how it's going to go. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. We'll just see. It's crazy. It's crazy. There will be wood in it. So I'm not building like a 3D printed something or anything like that. We're not going that crazy, but anyway. So I just want to share that. And then before we move on to the Acoustasonic thing, I wanted to talk about who the charity was that I picked. And it is called the Native American Music Fund. I literally just finally chose this yesterday. This is something that I've been really fighting with. I have a thing about charities. I want them to be legit. And I want to actually make a difference. I don't want to just pick a charity and then like pour more money into their pocket, and it just is. I don't want to say so, and it doesn't even get noticed. But I want somebody somewhere to feel the benefit of what, frankly, all of you are going to do. Because remember that the way this thing is going to work is the amount of money that's raised for the charity and the amount of the amount that the guitar goes for in the end, and that's all based on the interest that all of you put in it. And so it's all going to be you. So your money, wherever it comes from or however it comes in, is going to need to go somewhere and be meaningful. I'm Native American, and I'm very proud of that. And I know that music programs in Native American communities are it's not good. Well, they just don't have a lot. And so I found a charity in Fort Defiance, New Mexico. I actually used to live, this is the Navajo Indian Reservation. I used to live there. And what they do is they provide instruments. I'm just going to read it right here. They provide instruments to children who have limited resources. They purchase music books for children. They organize music workshops for communities. And they look for sponsors and grants to help with music on reservations. Not just Navajo, but on reservations. And the size of the charity appears to be small. It's not like one of these huge nationwide charities. And what it appears to me is that every dollar, I think they feel it. So what if we could, approach what Texas Toast could do with, a few $1,000s last year? I mean, how many $200 guitars could that buy for actual kids? You know what I mean? So I'm really excited about that. And I just, that's really cool. So it took me a while to find one. I was trying to find kind of the right fit for what I felt all of us could actually make a difference, and not just pick something where, it just like Red Cross, like your money just goes somewhere and I guess it does something somewhere. You know what I mean? I wanted to have like a end game for it, So anyway, I just want to share that. As we have more information, because I don't have all the information. I know last year you could directly donate and that would go towards votes and stuff. I don't know how all of that works yet. As soon as I find that out, I will let you know. I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, that is that. How are we doing over here, hon? I have been talking, and I wasn't looking. Yeah. Sounds like all of those videos will oversaturate the niche on YouTube. Maybe, but I mean, YouTube's a big place. Hi, Chris, by the way. YouTube's a big place, and I think it will be pretty awesome. I'm very, very excited. Michael McCoy says no to the oversaturation because it gives him ideas. Yeah, that's the thing. I think between the Instagram feed that Great Guitar Build Off has and all of the people tagging their things correctly on YouTube, I really think it's going to be awesome. Yeah, for sure. Okay, let's talk about this Fender American Acoustasonic. And if you want to keep talking about stuff or whatever, we will go back through here in a minute. Did we miss any actually questions? that had anybody had any tech questions, because you know, if you want to ask something you had a problem with this week or whatever, throw it in here and we'll try to get it.
There's one really early on.
Okay.
Let's see.
Before we move on to the next thing, I just want to make sure we don't miss anybody.
I can't remember who it was, so
okay.
yeah, maybe.
Well, I want to talk about this Fender Acoustasonic. We're going to go ahead and put my head back in a box. Okay. This thing is so cool. And I know that most people are going to say it's not. And I know that I think somebody in the comments on my YouTube channel earlier today was like, why did everybody drop the video on the same day? Oh my goodness, this is another video about the Acoustasonic. It's the dumbest thing ever. So, remember our video a couple weeks ago about, you know, making money on YouTube? Pretty much everybody that got a guitar already, Fender gave them those guitars. So they sent them those guitars to review. And then what they do is they put an embargo date on it and they say you're not allowed to talk about it online until this day. And that's why it happens with camera reviews. It happens with in all kinds of businesses. There's an embargo date on it. The new DJI drone comes out, and then all of a sudden there's like 70 YouTubers that all do a video on the DJI drone on the same day. That's why it comes out on the same day. And also that's also why most of the content in those videos, there's been some fairly creative ones. Ola England's is pretty good. Ryan from 60 Cycle Hum, I thought he did a pretty good job of just making crazy noises and doing weird stuff with it, and we're going to get back to Ryan here in a minute. But most of them are pretty cookie cutter, because I think they literally just take this page right here and this is all we know about the thing. They play it a little bit and they demo it, and that's kind of why all those videos are sort of the same. And there's probably a, I don't know because I didn't get one, but there's probably a sheet that they got. There's like a bump sheet that you got from Fender. These are the things we want you to highlight when you make the video. Chances are. So why do I think that the people that are in the comments on these videos, not the reviewers, I think the reviewers are doing what they're supposed to do and what Fender wants them to do. Why do I think that everybody in the comments and everybody all over the internet who's bagging on this thing are wrong? I believe that it is because they are looking at this thing like it's supposed to be this combination instrument that takes the place of multiple guitars. I saw somebody yesterday, and I told him I'd give him a shout out for this. Somebody commented on my post about this on YouTube. It's 2 guitars for the price of 3. I thought that was really funny. Because it kind of is true. It's not, but that's the way most people are looking at it. There's like, well, it's an electric guitar and then it's an acoustic guitar, and you smash them together and then you make it $2,000, which is unattainable for most people, so it makes 0 sense and it's stupid. I get where you're coming from. However, I 100% believe that this is an instrument that is neither an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar. This thing is a thing to make sounds that you could not make with either of those instruments. So when you look at this, it says cutting edge acoustic electric guitar. It is marketed that way. But when we look at it with a Timshaw humbucker in it, with a piezo pickup and a surface mount like pressure style like percussive pickup in it, it's a combination of things that in this context and the way you can select them, you can make sounds that you can't make otherwise. And could you make them? Yes, you could. But the combination is deadly. I would love to own one of these. I don't have room to have. So let's talk about why you wouldn't want one. I guess obviously the come on, here we go. Obviously the main thing would be it's $2,000. Do you want a noisemaker, an imagination guitar that costs $2,000? I think a lot of people are going to have a hard time with that. But if you go watch the guys that were really adventurous with it, like Ola England, you watch Ryan at 60 Cycle Hum, he literally says, I'm just going to make noise with this thing. And he comes up with sounds. It's just like somebody that buys the Roland synth stuff and puts it on a guitar, you know? That stuff costs money too. Now, I know it doesn't cost $2,000, but I just feel like there's a lot of things that we spend a lot of money on to make noises with our guitars. The guy that plays at church on Sunday and does those weird, cloudy, dreamy, swooshy, reverby things, he has $2,000 in a guitar and a pedal board to make those sounds. Okay? He has a Tele and 3 different $500 pedals and a whole bunch of, there's tons of stuff on his pedal board, and it's like this long, to make weird sounds. Let's face it, most of those guys are a guitar player trying to sound like a keyboard. Just gonna call it what it is, but that's what they do. And they make those weird sounds, and they spend a lot of money to do it. This is no different. This is not an acoustic guitar sounding like an electric guitar, or an electric guitar sounding like an acoustic guitar. This is a thing that makes new and fun noises, and hopefully you will explore ways to use it. I got a good buddy of mine who plays kind of more progressive jam bandy, I guess you could call it, because it's like not like Fish, but it's not like Dream Theater either. It's sort of like more like Modest Mousy kind of stuff. And he plays a Jazzmaster, and he also plays a Cole Clark acoustic, and he also plays one of my Teles, actually. And he called me the other day, and he was like, I think I want one of these because of all the sounds I can make with it, because of what I think I can do with it. Not because he wanted to replace a Jazzmaster, not because he was going to replace his Cole Clark, not because he was going to gig with this instead of his Cole Clark on an acoustic gig, but because it was a tool that he was going to be able to use to explore and make noise that he couldn't make before. Now, $2,000. I don't know. It's a lot of money. I'm going to say, for me personally, I would wait 6 months and buy a used one on Reverb. I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'm not sure. It's expensive. That's, whew. I also like that they're using, I don't know if you noticed this, but it's an ebony fretboard, but it's the marbled ebony. So ebony is a tree, but not all ebony trees are black in the middle. And if you ever watched that thing about Bob Taylor, who talks about how they find black ebony, they literally cut the tree down, and if it's not black, they leave it laying on the ground. So it's really not environmentally friendly at all. So that ebony has noise in it. It has marbled. It's really cool. My Breedlove acoustic that I had was marbled like that. Not quite like that, but it had like these silver white lines in it. It was really cool. So I dig that. I dig that a lot. Yeah, super cool. Anyway, I just think it's very, very cool. If I had one, I would definitely play it. I would make a lot of noise with it. And I really think, you know me, I'm not going to like just go bag on gear for no reason. I think I was saying, we were talking about this the other day, I think there is a reason for a particular gear. If you don't like it, that doesn't mean there's nothing to like about it. There is a place for it. And I'm all about making noises. I was just talking to a buddy of mine yesterday that I listen to electronic music. When I'm not working, well, 90% of the time, I'm listening to electronic music. I'm not actually listening to guitar music most of the time. But that is because I like to hear sounds. I like to explore sounds and what is this weird sound and how did they make this weird sound and where did that weird sound come from? And then finally, can I make that weird sound with a guitar? I find that very fun and cool, and so that's so I don't actually listen to guitar music that much. That being said, I'll share. I found somebody last night. I shared it on my Facebook page. Dude's awesome. Anyway, from Seattle. I'll make sure that on my Facebook page that it's still posted up because it's really good. Anyone who buys an Acoustasonic Jazz will have buyer's regret in 6 months. I disagree. I totally disagree. I know a lot of people that that the way they approach their music is to create something that they didn't do before, and this is for those people. I firmly believe that. If you play a D28 right now, you're not going to gig with this in replacement of your D28, most likely. You are going to probably use it on records, actually. Use it in the studio, maybe.
I do like the example Philip said it would be very useful for if you were in a wedding band and you didn't want to, you had to cover a lot of bases, but you don't want to switch guitars.
I mean, exactly. You know, actually, I was talking about this with my buddy yesterday. People forget that most working musicians, so there's a lot of working musicians, first of all, that won't mind spending $2,000 for something that will make their life easier.
It's a tool at that point.
Yes, exactly. It's a tool. And it doesn't have to be this beautiful big D28 amazing $3,000 acoustic guitar, and it does not have to be a custom shop Tele either, or custom shop Jazzmaster either, because you are standing in the corner of a bar with a crappy PA system. You're getting $250 to stand there all night long, and people are yelling out Freebird and Wonderwall and what else? Like
Wagon wheel.
Wagon wheel. Exactly. That guitar, if I had that guitar and I could walk in and play that gig and go anywhere from Johnny Cash to Wagon Wheel to some Nickelback song to whatever. Music, the money-making music on the $250 bar gig is the worst music. It's not the music that blows your hair back that you're like, oh my God, this song changed my life. It's the dumbest radio song from last week, last year, last decade, or from, you know, the 50s. But it's the dumber music. It's not the, you know, it's not the Dream Theater. It's not Houses of the Holy. It's not this super intricate, I'm trying to sound like Led Zeppelin. It's, you got a bunch of drug people holding up solo cups and you're like, woo! You know what I mean? Like, literally, that's who you're playing to. That thing, I would totally use it for that, because then I wouldn't have to do anything. It's got a preamp in it. It's got an overdrive in it. It's got an acoustic guitar in it. All I got to do is walk in with one cable, stick it in the wall, start playing and singing. Totally slick.
Little Tan said you can't put your pickups in it, though.
That's okay. That's okay. You know, you cannot put my pickups in it. I mean, that Timshaw Magnetic is probably really cool. It's probably really cool. Maybe a good mod platform. I don't know about that, man. You know, I don't know about that. It's, I think it's just a good, I love dumb music. Everybody does. Especially after, you know, depending on, okay, so.
You just want something familiar you can sing along with.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, in the normal bar after a couple of PBRs, you know, and in the fancy bar after a couple of Shiner Box or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, I think it's, I got friends in the low places. Yeah, I think it's totally gonna be. I think it's a totally cool thing. When the first one came out, I was like, everyone should have one of those. And guitar snobs everywhere were like, this is the dumbest thing ever. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be, except that it's too expensive. It's too expensive. I mean, how much should it cost? I think $11.99, it makes sense, right? Like if it's, they need to make a Mexican one, is what they need to do. They need to make a made in Mexico version of this thing. Okay, so maybe it's like 6 ounces more heavy, and maybe the pickup isn't as expensive or something. And it's $1,100 instead of $2,000. Now everybody's throwing it on a Sweetwater card and they're gigging with it for $1,100. I think that is that's, to me, that's where it should be. And I think if I found a used one on Reverb for $1,200, I think there's where that would be right in my sweet spot right there for that instrument. You know, yeah, I think it's hilarious that you equate Shinerbach with fancy bars. I was just trying to come up with a contrast between something and PBR, is basically. And let's face it, there is no fancy bar. Like, it's, you know, it either smells like this beer or it smells like that beer, but they're all the same. Like, most guitar snobs aren't even working musicians. Oh, man. Woo, we got some of those around here, I'll tell you what. PBR has to be very cold. Yes, it does. But you know, I like some pretty fancy stuff. But on a hot day, when I had a lawn to mow, and it was 100 degrees outside, and the beer was so cold that it was almost freezing in the can, and I say can, not bottle, and you could drink it really fast, PBR has its place. It really does. It does have its place. Are there major differences between the three models? Yeah, I think they're voiced completely differently. You know, obviously the Tele one is going to be Tele-ish. I have not looked into the Strat one. The only two that I've really spent time geeking out about a little bit is the Tele one and the Jazzmaster one, because those are the ones that interested me the most. So that's kind of what I looked into. You know, David has brought up a couple times the Variax. Yeah, I mean, and nobody bought it. Well, a lot of people bought it, I guess. But it does a thing. And the only reason nobody buys it is because people think they care too much about what people are going to think about them when they play one. That's why they don't buy them. Because they're useful. They're 100% useful. But, so, okay. 5 years ago, if you showed up to a gig with a Pod 500 in my town, you would get laughed out of the place. Kind of. By the snobbiest of snobs. But these days, you can show up with a Helix, which is just the evolution of the Pod 500, and everybody's like, oh yeah, that's the rig, man. That's what you use. So why can't there be an evolution of something that was clunky and kind of cool, but didn't track 100% well? Let's face it, the Variax doesn't track quite perfectly. So that was, you know, 10 years ago or 15. That's not as recent as you think. We should Google that. The Variax has been around a while. So the evolution of that is this, and the price of the evolution makes sense, and it does kind of the same thing, but it does it well, and it does it without latency, and it does it, plays like a real guitar. I always felt like Variaxes were a little cheap feeling. So, you know, all things will evolve. Just like the Pod 500 was this weird kind of dumb thing that nobody really took it very seriously, and now everybody's playing modelers. It's going to be the same thing. Guitar needs to evolve. it needs to evolve. To remain relevant, it needs to evolve. It just does. So that's why I'm really passionate about it. So talk about the Variax. You know, I don't know 100% enough about it either. I just know that I've played a few of them, and I know that they feel funny. I got a buddy that has one. He brought it to a gig locally, and it was like a sit-in gig, and I played it, and he's like, check it out, man. It sounds like a banjo. It sounds like a mandolin. It sounds like a whatever. And it's like, yeah, it's cool. It makes sounds. But I didn't feel like it depending on what features you had turned on and what you were using it for, it didn't totally track very well. And it was sort of weirdly disconnected. It sounded like you were playing, but you were listening to a recording of yourself playing, if that makes sense. It was this weird kind of disconnection. You know, it's just a weird thing. And so I think this thing's way better than that. I don't even think they're on the same level as far as workmanship and as far as, you know, features and not features, but because that thing did more things. It sounded like a banjo and a bunch of stuff. But I think it did fewer. This does fewer things, but I think it does it better. For sure. People still buy Variax. Yeah, it's true. They do. Yeah, and I know people like them. My buddy that has one, he loves that thing, and he like brags about it and like wants everybody to try it and play it. And I know he really likes it, but I don't know, it's just kind of interesting. Yeah, man. Too processed. I don't know if it was too processed or if it was just the way the hardware versus software worked. Like it was maybe because it sounded pretty good. I just felt like it was like a. I don't know. I hate to be like this because everybody talks about Kempers like this, but it's like a feel thing. I don't know. It was just a little bit off. So, you know. But this about a name brand big guitar manufacturer adding a Kemper in their guitar. Yeah, I mean, I hope it happens. I hope somebody does it. I hope that kind of progress is made. I hope that someday you can pull up to a gig with a Telecaster and plug it straight into the wall and have everything you need and no pedals. That'd be awesome. Do you remember, man, I can't remember what it was called, but we were at a NAMM show probably 6 or 7 years ago now, probably 6 years ago. And Fender had this Strat. And it had these, on the back, it had this door that opened up. And you could like pull out these like tone capsule things. There were like these little boards. It almost looked like a video game cartridge almost. And it like popped out and you could put another one in and it would change the voicing of the guitar. It was the gimmickiest thing. I don't know if they actually ever went to production with it. But it was this weird, I cannot remember what they were called. It worked. It was neat, but nobody would buy it. There's no way anybody would buy it. Fortunately, it probably died quickly, you know, but your Variax played better than most of your snobby American acoustic or boutique guitars. Yeah, I mean, again, that's another instrument. That Variax thing is another instrument that serves a purpose for, you know, if he brags it up like that, it means he's insecure about it and probably hates it. You don't know me very well, I guess.
Not you. I'm talking about the person with their guitar you were just talking about.
Oh, Chris? Yeah. Oh, no. I trust what Chris says. Chris Hendricks, he's been, I've known him for a long time on Facebook. And
You're going backwards.
He plays a lot.
You're reading comment after another comment.
Oh, am I?
He was talking about the person you know that has one of those guitars.
Oh. Oh no, I think people genuinely like stuff, and I applaud that. Um, I know that the guy that has this Variax really likes it. He thinks it's cool. He really does think it's cool, and I'm glad for him because when he spends his money on something, I think he should like it, and I'm not going to take away from that, even if I don't 100% agree. I do see the positives in it, and I think for what he uses it for and what he likes it for, it's cool. It doesn't fit in my arsenal the same way though, so I wouldn't have one. Yeah, for sure. I saw an electric guitar maker that has a slot for the iPhone. See, that stuff's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And you know what? Kids are gonna buy it because they don't know any different. I guess I've been saying this for a few years now, so I have to adjust the number, but my daughter's 21, almost 21, 20, she's 20, and she does not know a time without a touchscreen. She doesn't. Like, her memories of being a human do not include a time without a touchscreen, and she's 20 years old. So, all kids from now on, their entire life of playing with stuff is going to include a touchscreen, which means when they get ready to be creative and do the next thing, that's going to be the default interface with the world for them, unless something else comes along. So when a kid sees a tube amp with a lot of knobs on the front, they're going to be like, where do I swipe? So there is going to be a time, and it's already happening with, the Line 6 Amplify, the, all these little digital modeling amps that have app interfaces with them. They're popular with younger people because it's the interface that they are familiar with. So I think, we as people who lived before there were touchscreens will have to get used to the fact that our world is going to go that way because it's going that way, period. I'm talking to you on a touchscreen right now. All of those things are making all of this possible. So...
A typewriter? A typewriter's older than me. I've never even used a typewriter.
Oh, man. That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, how often do you... Oh, here's an actual... we got a techie question. How often do you flip the control plate around on Teles? And any of your guys that play out, do you all like this configuration? So let's put it to you, because I will be in extreme disagreement to what most of you say. So put in the comments, do you flip your Telecaster control plates around? Many of you are going to say yes, and I hate it.
What does that mean?
When you take the Telecaster control plate and you wire it backwards and you put the switch towards the jack and you put the volume towards the front, I don't hate it. I find it very inconvenient because then it becomes like a Strat for me, and I'm constantly hitting the volume knob when I play. So I don't like it at all. I don't find it convenient whatsoever. I like it. I like a Tele the way a Tele is supposed to be. Get your daughter a 110 baud acoustic coupled modem. Remember those?
No.
Those are the ones that were in the shape of a phone, and you put the phone on top of it, and it went beep, 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 when you dialed into the internet. That's what all that was.
Nope. I want to know where this person went to school. They're like, I had to learn to type on a typewriter, and I'm only 33. That's crazy.
Yeah. Where did you go to school?
I won't say how old I am, but I'm definitely older than 33.
Yes.
Old enough to have a 20-year-old daughter.
That's right. The Telecaster plate's only problem is that the switch being too close to the volume pot. I agree. If they moved it back just a little bit. I have a friend who for a long time made Telecaster control plates, and he had them made and he put the switch on an angle, kind of like a Strat sort of. And not that much because there's not much room in there, but a little bit of an angle, and it changed it just a little where it made the motion just a little bit more natural, and it was a pretty good idea actually.
Oh, they're from Austria. Interesting.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
So just the advance of technology perhaps was different, or maybe they had a different touch with older technology, or...
Yeah, I don't know.
That's cool.
It's very cool.
I can't even type with looking at the keyboard. We just had that conversation today.
Yes. Yep.
My fingers are smarter than my brain for typing.
She can't even hunt and peck. Like, she has to, like, not look at the keyboard, and then she can type, like, a bajillion words a minute. I don't know how to type, and I can type relatively quickly, but I have to look at the keyboard. Yeah. And I do a lot of random capitalization. For those of you that have been following me for a long time on Instagram and YouTube,
My goodness.
you know that I randomly capitalize in the middle of sentences. I don't know why. My shift pinky has a mind of its own.
Happy. It's happy.
It's a happy shift pinky. I'm not really sure what the deal is. Oh, man. They said without the chance of correcting the typing mistakes that they would learn better. Oh. Because it's like writing with an ink pen. Like, you can't make a mistake. You just have to get better. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'm really fast with the delete key too, so I get that.
Oh, you're fast with the delete key? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. You guys, this has been super fun. Make sure you check out... oh, hang on. Adam Rohn, Super Chat. I think I know that weird guitar you meant earlier, and Daryl Braun featured it on his channel, and I believe it is in production. Interesting. There is a weird acoustic guitar that has like a bunch of... Not... What's it called? Not the tone wood amp that sticks on it. But there is... Yeah, Daryl Braun featured it. Somebody else too. Yeah. Dylan's not yelling at you. He's just happy. Thanks. Thanks, Zoltan. I appreciate that. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, so everybody's talking about typing class. I took a it was like a computer typing class too, but it was back in the days when they could still like pop your hands. And I had a teacher that would like make you stare at him so he knew you didn't look at the keyboard. You couldn't look down.
Like wrap your knuckles with a ruler?
I mean, they could have. I had a teacher that used to throw chalk. Oh, we got a new... Oh, I've never seen that happen live.
Yeah, Pit Soup.
That's sweet.
It's a great name. Thanks for joining the YouTube membership stuff. I make membership-only posts on our YouTube community feed almost a few times a week. And you also get the same early treatment to videos and stuff that Patreon gets. So I do... basically, you get the same thing that the $5 thing over on Patreon gets. Same thing. I did the YouTube membership thing because I know a lot of people get like, oh, another thing. Now I got to go sign up for Patreon. Like, I know people get annoyed with that. So it makes it way easier just to hit the little button down there. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. We have gotten off on some pretty awesome tangents today. This has been a really fun one. Drinking water today, just FYI. We dodged a major bullet with the storms that came through the southeast today. Literally, we went to Leslie's mom's house today because they said that we're going to get 60-mile-an-hour straight line winds, which could actually tip one of these over. And so we're like, well, let's just pull the slides in, go to your mom's house. We'll work over there. It's been sunny and beautiful all day. It didn't even come here. So, crazy.
Which is good. We are thankful.
Yes, we are thankful that we did not come back to a tipped-over motorhome or somebody else's deck chair through my windshield or some crazy thing like that. So this has been awesome. Thanks so much. You guys are cool. Check out the vlog tomorrow at 5 p.m. We moved them to 5 p.m. And then make sure you check out our video that comes out on Tuesday, which I think is going to be a introduction to the Great Guitar Build-Off. I'm going to show you a little bit what I'm doing. Thank you so much, Zoltan, here's for a tuner for your GGBO project. If it'll have any, that's awesome. A tunerless guitar. And then also, just FYI before we go, this month, this is Rob's idea from Patreon. He said, can you please do, for the class this month, the workshop over on Patreon, pickup winding? Like, I want to actually see it happen and work through it. So we're going to wind a pickup and we're going to show you how we do it. And I'll probably give you a little parts list if you want to try it yourself. So make sure you enroll for that if you're interested. Thank you so much.
Like the best encore.
Yeah, thank you so much, Scrap Iron 22. Leslie always says, you say like you're going to stop and then you keep talking. Well, maybe I should do that more. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.